So we'll wait for till 5:30 and then we'll start. We'll just wait for teachers to join.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sarojji. How have you been?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Nayan Beda. People who do not know me, I'm Dr. Nayan Beda from S R Dalvi Foundation. This is a foundation which has been set up to for basically for teachers. We do teachers empowerment programs. We do teachers welfare program, and basically it's for the teacher, of the teachers, by the teachers. Okay, so as a foundation, it's a non-profit organization. We don't charge for anything. In fact, we don't do anything which is involved commercials. Rather, we are just here to help the teachers and see how we can help teachers in empowering them or making their life better. The foundation was started by the couple, that is Sita Dalvi and Ramchandra Dalvi. Sita Dalvi has been she was a school teacher, secondary school teacher for 15 years. They've seen the life very closely of a teacher, and today they are doing well in their life. So they decided to do something and set up the foundation for teachers. So welcome all of you. I won't spend much time, won't bore you. Most of you know us. The new teachers who joined us today, welcome all of you. And please fill up the feedback form at the end of the session. So by the end of the session, you'll have to fill up the feedback form so that we have your information, correct information, and we can accordingly send you the certificate of participation of this today's webinar on Nearpod. Okay, Damian, I would like to invite you and speak, and I would want you to introduce yourself and please introduce your team, the speakers from your organization. By the way, Damian is from USA. He's right now. Damian, what? It's 8 a.m. there right now in the morning.
Right now it is 8 a.m. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Damian was kind enough to agree to do this webinar and train all the teachers, give them the idea about Nearpod. And at the end of the session, all the teachers who want to ask question, please put a question on the chat, or you have an opportunity to ask question to the speakers or to Damian at the end of the session. So all the best, all of you. I hope you enjoy this webinar. Damian, over to you.
Okay, Nayan, thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you all for joining this this evening for you and morning for us. And thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to show Nearpod in India, where the usage is very large and it's growing like day by day. Today, Victoria, our customer success manager international with Nearpod, is going to show you a demo of how Nearpod works and how it helps the engagement between the student and the teacher. I mean, I live in the US, but I am originally from Argentina, Buenos Aires. And okay, so I'll pass it to Victoria to introduce herself and to start the Nearpod demo.
That was great. Victoria, hi Victoria. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I think you have to unmute Victoria.
There, hi, hello, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Damian. Thank you, Mr. Beda. My name is Victoria, as everyone mentioned, and today we will be walking through Nearpod. So I am pretty sure that not everyone here knows what Nearpod is. The idea is to briefly tell you, but first of all, there's a couple of things that I want to mention. Today, we're gonna go do a walkthrough on what Nearpod is, how to create a lesson, how to launch a lesson with students, and also how to access reports. If at any point you don't understand what I'm saying, you are not, for some reason you have questions or you want to say something, please write everything in the chat so that I can read that and I can see what your questions are. Essentially, the idea is that you all are muted so that we can all hear each other if we have any doubts. Without further ado, I will start sharing my screen. I need permission to share my screen. Okay, perfect, thank you. Now you will let me know, Damian, can you see my screen? Can you give me a thumbs up? Perfect, alrighty. Okay, so for those who don't know what Nearpod is an engaging platform that allows teachers to create interactive and engaging lessons and launch them with them students. Nearpod was born to be an in-class teaching enhancer, but of course, due to the pandemic situation, a lot of teachers were using Nearpod for remote learning. But now, ideally, because of all of the improvements that we've made and because of all the different scenarios that are occurring across the world, Nearpod can be used even if you are back in class, if you're doing remote teaching and learning, or if students are doing a hybrid sort of dynamic. So you'll see that Nearpod works for all three scenarios or all of the scenarios that may arise in the future. And the idea today is to show you around everything that you will be able to do with a school license of Nearpod. First of all, what you're seeing here in my screen is my library. These are lessons that I created myself or that I downloaded from the Nearpod library. Nearpod has about 9,000 ready to teach lessons in English that you can choose from. So if you're a math teacher for 7th grade and you need a lesson on trigonometry, you can go to the Nearpod library and search that lesson. Maybe there is something that can work for you. And if not, you can create your own content from scratch, and I will show you how to do that. So as you see, I have a lot of folders, a lot of lessons. I've been doing my work here. I've been creating a lot of lessons. But the way you're going to create a lesson is very simple. You're going to click here, just create, as I'm showing you right now. And Nearpod will give you a couple of options depending on the resources that you're using. So let's say that you are already creating your lessons in Google Slides, or you're using PowerPoint, or you're using PDFs. Don't worry. All of these resources that you have or that you are creating right now can be adapted into Nearpod lessons. So you can have different types of activities or content that you can add to those lessons to make it more interactive. So let's start with a regular lesson. Let's say that I have a PowerPoint. I created a very good PowerPoint that I want to share with my class, but it doesn't have any questions. It doesn't have any videos. It's just a PowerPoint with words. I just click create lesson, and now this is blank for me to start adding my own resources. And I can start by uploading any PowerPoint files, any PDFs or images, and adding the activities. I have one here already that I was creating. This is the one I created. So I'm going to drag and drop it, and Nearpod will convert those slides into a Nearpod presentation. So it's going to take a couple of seconds, as you are seeing right here to the bottom right corner, I'm sorry. And once my file has finished loading, I can start adding my activities. But while we wait, I want to show you what are these activities. So we have two types of content that you can add to a lesson. On the one hand, we have the more interactive, visually engaging content. So you can add to your presentations more slides, you can add videos, you can add PDFs, you can add audio recordings, images, moving images, and some more things that I will show you right now. Whereas on the other hand, you can add activities. These activities will require student input. So if you add a question, students will necessarily need to write the answer before moving forward in a lesson. Regarding content, I'm going to go through all of these items little by little. I will not go into depth for every single one of them, but I do want to mention what they are. So as you can see here in the background, my lesson has already loaded. So all of my PowerPoint, it was very short, but I do have it here. Now I need to add something to make it more engaging and interactive. I can start adding any PDF file that I have. So in the classroom, we used to hand out photocopies to students, photocopies of a story or an activity they have to make. Well, now you can attach that file as a PDF so the students can access those handouts without actually incurring in any paper. You can add audio files. This is both so that you can read maybe the text out loud, or maybe that you want to complement whatever is within the slide, or if you want to give students further instructions, and you can record yourself. You don't have to have those audio files already in your computer. You can also add different types of presentations within Nearpod. So you have either a slideshow that will help you organize your slides a little better, or a Microsoft Sway presentation. If you don't know what this is, I suggest you go ahead and click Sway and explore all of the different options. I think that the one that matches my class better is the one about amphibians. And I will add it to my lesson to have another presentation. As you can see, I can move it around, so I see that it matches better with the second slide. So I'll move it here. Then you have a library of BBC videos you can choose from in case you want to teach using these resources. And for those who are math, chemistry, physics, or any type of subject that requires graphicing, then you have the possibility to add the Desmos graphic calculator. This is a way of making graphs more interactive for students. So they need to input the different numbers and variables, and this will show them how the graph will actually look in if they were actually graphicing themselves. Then one of my favorite things is that you can add a virtual reality field trip. This is because we have a partnership with 360 cities. So we have about 400,000 virtual reality field trips you can choose from. This can be anywhere in the world that is a public space. So it can be inside a museum if you want to take your students there. It can be a doctor's office. It can be a park, a monument, a bridge. So anything, this will help you break the ice in your lessons. This will help you add real life references to your lessons, whether you're teaching math, language, physics, chemistry, whatever subject you're teaching. So in the matter of actually keeping it close to my lesson, I'm gonna maybe add bottom of the sea because we're dealing with biology here. This is a biology lesson. And I'm gonna look for bottom of the sea here. And I will see several different lessons that I can choose from. So in this case, this one is the one that I want because it shows me sea turtles. I can preview it to see, hey, is this appropriate for my students? This is what I want. So you can always preview it and see, okay, this is exactly what I need. And I will be uploading it to the presentation. And now I have a presentation here, another slide, and after this slide, I will add a virtual field trip. In the same way that I added field trip, you can add a PhET simulation. This will be very good for those that teach math and science because it's the same way as if you were taking your students to a laboratory without actually taking them to a laboratory. They don't need to leave their devices. They can do it from home. They can do it from their seating in the classroom, from their own devices. There's also a library of 3D elements that you can choose from in the best interest of fulfilling my lesson of biology. I'm going to choose the full human body. I can preview this to see if it's actually something that my students will need and they will benefit. Files that I want to use, I am also going to put it in my lesson. And you can also add two more things I'm going to mention today. One of them is a video. So if you want to add any video you have, either of a recording of yourself or you have had video about, in this case, biology, the human body, how a cell moves, any video you want to attach, you can do that. Or if none of these elements work, if what I mentioned here, you say, hey, I'm not going to use anything about this, nothing here is actually going to match my class, don't worry. Because if you have any element that lives within a website, you can always attach it to a Nearpod lesson and make it part of your lesson. So when students join that session, they will not need to leave the device or the app to just access this web content. It can be a news article. It can be maybe a live document that you want your students to collaborate on. It can be maybe a link to a digital book or any resource you have online. And once you added your activities, your lesson will look a little bit like this. So it has now a virtual field trip, a 3D object, and a presentation. But well, I do need to ask my students questions. I want to know if what I'm teaching them is being actually incorporated into their learning. And this is what the activities are for. So in this case, you will want to add any type of activity that matches your needs. Those can be more classic traditional activities, or they can be a little bit more gamified. So we have, for example, the traditional ones, the poll, an open-ended question, a quiz. These are the ones that we all know, we've all dealt with them. Now, Nearpod also has a couple of original activities, which I will show you today. For example, the time to climb, that is a gamified quiz. And you have the possibility of adding a droid activity. You have the possibility of adding a matching pairs activity, a memory test, and you'll see there's a new feature called drag and drop that I will show you in just a few minutes. So in this case, I want to ask my students with a quiz, what is it that they learned? Or maybe I want to start my question with a quiz. What do you remember from last class? Something, nothing, and I'm gonna add one more answer and move it here and say everything. In this case, I can add a correct answer because this is a quiz. If there's no correct answer, then it will become like a poll situation, but all three are correct answers because there is no actual, they don't have to remember everything. And there's a couple of things that you are using here. I have seen a question in the chat of somebody that asked me if we can use this on our mobiles. Yes, the answer is yes. Nearpod can be used in any device that has a good internet connection, a screen. So if it's an Android device, if it's an iOS device, a computer, they will work perfectly well. It could be your phone, a tablet, a laptop, any type of device. Yes. That's the magic about it, because it's not only you teachers that can use any device, but also students can access Nearpod from any device. So it makes it more accessible and everyone is able to join. So in this case, I just created my quiz. There's a couple of things that you can add to a question. So I can add a timer. Let's say that I know that my class should only last 40 minutes, not more than that. If I add a timer, I know that students should be able to answer the question within 1 minute of me asking it. Or it can go up to 99 minutes. So if you're creating an exam with Nearpod, a test, you can always test it out by time. So they have, for example, 1 hour to answer this quiz that has 50 questions. And then you can add any reference media that you need. And this will be something that will support students through the guiding of the question. It can be maybe an image from last class. It can be an audio recording of me reading the question out loud. It can be any type of activity. And once I click save, I will be taken back to my lesson. And now I will be placed in front of my session because I want to start my class with that question. So as you see, it was really easy to create a lesson. I want to jump on to the next thing, which is show you how to launch a lesson. That's why I'm going to make a little pause here and read any questions that are on the chat, while if you want to keep asking them, just feel free. So I have another question that says, can we use Nearpod on Zoom? Yes, we have an integration with Zoom that is available for a school edition of Nearpod that allows you to share one link, and that link for a student will work for both a Nearpod presentation and a Zoom call. But essentially, Nearpod can be used with any video conferencing system, as I am showing you right now. Right now, we are using Zoom and I'm showing you my lesson. So that is the way you're going to work with it in your class. Nicholas is asking if Nearpod is an app. Nearpod is essentially a platform, but we do have an app version for iOS and Android devices. The maximum participants for each activity is at the moment depending on the type of license that you have. So in a school license, you have up to 150 students per session. In a free version, you have up to 35 or 40, I believe. So that is depending on the type of license that you have. Somebody's asking, we can use this in Teams. Is the same answer as in Zoom. You can use it with any system. With Microsoft Teams, we have an integration in which you can share your lessons through Teams. And I will show you that right now. Then how many lessons can I make in the free version? Anita, right now, I think those are about 4 or 5 or 6 lessons, depending on how big they are. With a school edition, you can create as many lessons because the storage is unlimited. So somebody asked me, how do I share my lesson through Teams, for example? That's very easy. Once you have your lesson here, I chose one that I created in the past, you can always launch Nearpod in both live participation and student pace mode. This is very important because these are the 2 types of teaching that you can achieve with Nearpod, depending on whether a teaching is synchronous or asynchronous. If you're teaching an asynchronous lesson, just because students are going at a different pace than what you are, or if you want to send this via homework, or if you're not able to connect with your students, maybe live, you're going to click here, student paced. And this will allow students to complete the lesson at their own rhythm. They can explore, they can answer, and you'll see that they can fill this out by themselves. Every time you click launch Nearpod in a different way, Nearpod will issue a code with numbers and letters, and you can always share this code through Microsoft Teams, like I'm showing you right now, through Google Classroom, or you can share a link or in social media or via email. So if I am a student, I will go to join.nearpod. It's instructing me here. I'm going to do this for you right now. And I'm going to enter this code. Once I do, Nearpod will ask me to enter my name that I need to import from, in this case, Google or Office 365. But you can always allow your students to write their own name, so they don't need to import their names. I am now Victoria, this is me, I am a student, and I am now in the lesson. I can freely navigate the lesson and start answering the questions the teacher has for me. So I want to select this answer, I'm going to click it, I'm going to go to the next question, and this is the way that students will move during a lesson, like, a student-paced session. But now I also want to show you how a live participation lesson works. So for that, today I'm going to be the teacher. You all are going to be my students. So I ask you to please access this lesson. I'm going to show you how, so don't worry. Currently, there are 2 ways to join. First of all, I'm going to copy a link and put it in the chat, but I'm going to send it to, I can send it to everyone. So here is a link. You can access using the link that I just shared with you. Or if you're in the app, or if you are joining from a different device, or you don't want to use the link, you're going to go to join.nearpod.com or the app and enter the code that I am writing here in the screen. You can write it in capital letters, or you can write it in little letters, doesn't matter because it's not capital sensitive. And once you start joining the session, I will start seeing you here. So I am seeing right now that we have about, let me check, 158 participants. So I'm seeing that I am expecting as many students as my lessons as participants we have. So once again, you're going to go to join.nearpod.com and enter the code. If you are working from a different device, I would suggest going to the app or going to the browser and entering this code. If you don't have a different device and you are working from your, in this case, from the same computer in which you're watching this session, you can open a new tab, or I will be splitting my screen and you can see this for yourselves with my split screen, so that everyone has access, even if you don't have access to entering the lesson. So I see I have 9 people in my lesson. I have 9 students. I'm expecting a little bit more because we're 158 people here in this call. So come on, I know it's late afternoon on a Friday, but we're gonna kick this off and we're gonna start the weekend in the best possible way by joining this amazing lesson that I have for you today. So once again, the way you're going to join the lesson is by to join.nearpod.com, and the code is HB, as in B, an actual like buzzing B, number 7, W, and the number 5. I have somebody here say it's showing. Please make sure that these are the letters and numbers that you're entering, because it's been working for me. So I know the code is not technically wrong, but it could be that they're not very clear. So it's letter H as in Horace, letter B as in, I don't know, beach. I have right here by me. That's why I thought about that. It could be the number 7, the letter W, and the number 5. So I have in here about 24 students. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes. 27. Yay, we're growing. So that you can start joining our lesson and we can kick this off. It's going to be really cool. You're going to have to participate and answer questions. You're going to be really fun. So I suggest that if you want to really get the experience of how Nearpod works for students, you join my session today. Okay, we're at 31. This is moving. Come on, everyone. While we wait for everyone to join, I will want to show you some things that you are seeing in my screen. So on the left-hand side, we have this, the teacher view. You know, it has more elements because it's different. It has a lot more buttons. Whereas on the right-hand side, I have the student view. As a student, I cannot see beyond the slide that my teacher is sharing because this is a live session. So me as a teacher, I will be controlling your devices and your lessons. From a teacher point of view, I can always hide student names, for example, if I want to focus on the answers, or I can navigate all of my lesson. So while we wait for people to join, I'm going to share with you this activity. This is my first activity of Nearpod, and I want to know what do you know about Nearpod? Maybe you haven't heard anything that I said before, so you know nothing about Nearpod, you know a little bit, or you are an expert, in which case I want to know. So in your devices, you're going to start looking for the answer that best matches your experience. And then you're going to click submit, whether in your phone or whether you are in your laptop or any other device. If you're using your phones, please remember that the best way that Nearpod works is with your phone in a horizontal mode, not vertical, because this will allow you to see the whole session. If you have it vertical, it just will show you a little bit of the screen. Okay, I'm seeing that people are starting to answer. I know that most people know that it's something about engaging and teaching. Whether there's an 8.9% of people that do not know what Nearpod is, don't worry. Hopefully this will clarify it for you. And that a 4% that is an expert. And I'm hoping those experts to just go ahead and help me out with my lesson. Damian does not count because he works with me. But for example, here we have, let's see, we have somebody else. Okay, no, that's Damian and me. We don't have any experts today. You're gonna go home today being a Nearpod expert. That's the idea. So as you can see, I already have all of my answers. Some of my students did not reply, and I can see because they're not showing up any answers here. Maybe they're asleep. But in any case, I can share this with my class to see how we did. This is a poll, so it's a very good debating tool. If I want my students to assess on how the class did, and we can start conversation based on this poll, then this is the way we're going to do it. I'm going to next share with you my next activity. This is an open-ended question. You have 3 minutes to finish it. Hopefully you'll write it in less. But my lesson today is about teleportation. So just imagine a world without COVID, without plane tickets. Where would you want to be right now? Where would you want to go? It can be within this planet, it can be outer space. So just be creative. The idea behind this activity is that students are able to type their own answers, a whole paragraph, an essay. This is a very good activity if you're evaluating students, for example, on any type of essay question. And as I was showing you before, from the teacher point of view, I always have access to what my students are replying in real time. So go ahead and answer. I know if you're not answering, don't worry, I have all your names here. I can always hide them, for example, if I do not want to focus on who is not answering or who is. And I will start seeing my different answers. So I have a lot of people that want to go to space here. We're all we're all very immersed here. Space, Jupiter, we want to go, somebody wants to go to the beach, space again, to space. Okay, we already built a spaceship. We have a couple of people that will be in it because we all want to go to space. Somebody in Greece, that would be nice. Greece, imagine the beaches, the blue water. Mars, future life through time machine. Wow, this is really interesting. My question is, do you really want to know your future though? Is that something that you want to do? Go to the moon, Bangalore, YouTube. Okay, you can access YouTube from Nearpod. That's something that we can help you with, not with the moon though. You can go to the moon. So as you see, I'm seeing all of my students' responses in my teacher view here. And as a student, for example, I want to go to Edinburgh in Scotland. This is my favorite place in the world, so I'm going to submit it. And I can start sharing these questions with my students. For example, this one is very interesting. Somebody wants to disappear and reappear. Maybe that's a possibility, maybe it's not, but I want to share this with my class anonymously. So in your devices, in your student view, you're going to see the answer that I just shared. I want to share this other answer about going to the Maldives. A resort where I can spend some time with myself. I love this answer. That's the best answer ever. But as you can see, I can always see when my students are not answering also. So I always have an insight of what is going on. And if you're looking at my screen, please note that I can always see who is paying attention and who is not. So you can see a lot of red buttons here on the left. That means that all of these people are not interacting with the lesson. Maybe they're not clicking on any answers. Maybe they fell asleep. They closed the tab. They just left the lesson. Whatever happens, they're not really paying attention, whereas all of these people in green are paying attention. So I'm always here to see what is happening. I'm going to make a little pause and see the chat because I have a question. Is there any way to import questions from another presentation? Yes, there is. First of all, you can duplicate any lesson that you have in your library. So let's say that I have this one and I want to just import the questions. I can duplicate it and just keep the questions. But you can also copy and paste slides across presentations. So if you need to do that with a quiz, for example, you can do the copy and paste feature. That's also going to work. All right, so the time is up for this activity. I'm going to share with you my next activity because it's my lesson, bruh. I am taking you there. So we're going to go to this little hill at the top of the city. And it's my favorite place because you can see all of the city from here. The thing is that you can navigate this with your own device. If you're using your phone or your tablet, just moving around and explore the different landscapes with your devices. If you're in your computer, you might want to use that mouse and explore. You can zoom in, zoom out, and you can take your students anywhere in the world. Please remember that if you have any questions or comments, or just tell me what you think about these activities, you can write them in the chat. I'm always reading that. My next activity will be to show you a 3D element. We're following with the theme of teleportation, so I want to give you an overview of what the Earth looks like and what the moon looks like. I know I have a couple of people wanting to go to the moon, so maybe this is as close as you will get in the near future. So just go ahead and zoom in on that moon and see how it's shadowing the Earth. You can explore this 3D object. So students can actually do this with any element you choose. As you saw before, I chose for my previous lesson the human body. So it will depend entirely on what subject I am teaching. I can also attach a PDF to my lesson, so you can see that you have access to a paper that has 88 pages. So it doesn't matter how long it is, you can always attach PDFs for your students to explore. Somebody says that they're already loving the app because it's interesting and interactive. Join the team. We love the app too. We love Nearpod too. And this is the idea, that you get to see how amazing it is and how incredible it is. And they will always be engaged if they're learning through Nearpod. Then one more thing that I have the possibility to do is that I can skip slides. So let's say that I do not want my students to see the next one because the conversation from the class went somewhere else, somebody asked a question, so maybe the next slide is not the best to continue, I can always skip and share with you the next slide. Somebody says that they're not able to answer. Maybe it's because you need to share, you need to access the lesson. The way you're going to access the lesson is through the link here. Let me see if I can copy it here. Where is it? You can access the lesson through the link nearpod.com and enter this code here that I'm also copying in the chat, and you're going to go to join.nearpod.com. Here we go. I'm going to start this activity. This is a draw it activity. This is a very versatile activity. As you can see, you're going to see your student devices an island in which you can draw. You can draw, you can highlight, you can add text, you can add images. And if you were teaching math, for example, and you want your students to graph an equation, instead of an island, you can put a graph paper. If you're teaching your students to write, if you're dealing, for example, with kindergarten students and they're just starting to write, you can add a sentence paper so they can write on it. If you're teaching biology, you can attach a cell and say, hey, label the different parts of the cell. In any case, students highlight, add text or images to this activity. In this case, I'm asking you if you could bring 3 things to an island, what would you bring? I am seeing a lot of bottles of water, which is very wise. Somebody drew a sun, and that's also very nice. And I know that a lot of people are not answering, but in any case, I can see when my students are drawing in real life. And once you start finishing those drawings, do not forget to submit them, send them to me so that I can share this with my class. For example, somebody here drew beautiful grass on this island, and now I can share this with here. So somebody drew another palm tree, water, a flower. I'm seeing a lot of drawings, people, mom and dad. This is very nice. I will also bring my parents. That's very accurate. A cactus, more plants. So now the time is up. If you didn't send your drawings, they will be sent automatically. But I want to share, for example, one of my students' drawings that I think it's one of the best ones. So if you ever want to share this anonymously with your class, you can. This is very good, especially because if you have shy kids that are not very keen onto answering every question in class, they can still participate and you can share out their questions without pointing out who they are. So this will also increase participation for those that are not very active in class, if it's very shy. So that's a possibility. I want to access any other drawing. So food and a bottle of water. Get this 2 here with my class. And I'm going to look to see if there's any other drawing that calls my attention. Oh, somebody here drew little birds, and it's very cute. So I'm going to make a little pause here to see if there are any questions in the chat. Please remember to ask them here. Thank you, Damian, for answering that. If the content is uncopyable, yes, because it's in your library. Unless you share it outside of your library with any other teacher, nobody else has access to what you are creating. And somebody says it's going to enhance and make my teaching fun in maths. Exactly, that's the idea. And once again, Nearpod can be used for any subject that you're teaching, even if you're teaching music or physical education. Regarding augmented reality, this is a very interesting question because we do not have any elements in Nearpod of augmented reality. But if you have a website link that you want to share with your students, in which you show an augmented reality world, you can link that website to your Nearpod lesson. So when students are in the lesson, they're going to enter automatically that website and they're going to access it. For example, I have a website here that I share with my students. This is an article on teleportation. So if you're in your devices, you're going to be able to access the website from your device without leaving the presentation. This is the example that I believe you're asking for in the chat. So in this case, you can access the website. If you're in your phone, you will not need to open anything. This will open for you. So hopefully that answered your question. I'm going to show you one more activity today, which I think is very important, and this is a time to climb. This is my favorite activity. This is a gamified quiz. So at the beginning, we made a quiz. I showed you how to do one. You need to select the correct answer, and that's it. But in this case, you're going to not only need to select the correct answer, but you're going to have to answer fast. This is important because if you answer fast and correct, you win the game. This is a literal game. So I'm going to finish my lesson strong so that you go into the weekends having a lot of fun. And I'm going to, in this case, disable sound for your devices because I know that the music can be a little bit heavy. I'm going to choose the space theme because all of you wanted to travel there. And I want to randomize my answers because I don't want to you to copy from my answers. And I'm going to click continue. And you as a student will need to select the character that you want. Just go ahead and search one. Do not use the first four. I will realize if that is something, you can go ahead and search any other character. And then you're going to click start on your end, and we're going to wait for our class to join. So currently we have 58 people in our class, minus a few, 15 of them that may be a little bit sleepy. So I'm expecting to have at least 40 people in my time to climb. While everyone joins, I'm going to wait to see if there are any questions in the chat. Okay, this is Damian's favorite activity too. You'll see that you love it. So maybe it becomes your favorite activities too across the whole month. How can Nearpod help in teaching art? Excellent questions. So at the beginning, I showed you, we have a Nearpod library that has a lot of ready to teach lessons. You will find we have a very huge collection of art lessons, whether it's theory, whether it's students to start accessing their own projects. You can always attach videos. You can allow your students to draw. You can allow your students to have real life references through virtual reality and 3D objects. You can add videos to those lessons. You can add there. You see that there's a lot of things that you can do. But in any case, you can always search through our what we call the Nearpod Library or the store, but it's not store because you don't have to pay for anything. And you can see what are the art lessons that are being created by Nearpod if you need to get any ideas. Okay, we have 35 people. Come on, we can do with 5 more. I see those 5 there that are struggling to connect. Just go ahead and select your character. We have 36. Somebody heard me. Do we have storybooks in Nearpod? We have a couple of them. Yes, we do. In any case, you can create them, but that's a very good way of also incorporating engagement to your lessons, creating storybooks with interactive elements. So once again, images, videos, whatever will work. And somebody asked if we can save our learners' responses. Yes, and I will show you this after the game. So we didn't reach 40. Okay, 39, that's good. But once we start the game, I'm going to show you how to access all of the students' responses. So I'm going to start the game. Remember, you need to answer correctly, but you also need to answer fast. And these are not very hard questions. So I want to see, go ahead. For example, the first question is prefixes are added to the of a word, either the middle, the beginning, or the end. I'm going to select an answer. I'm not sure if this is correct, but oh, I didn't miss it because the time ran out. You have to make sure to answer in time. So I see that a lot of people are answering. I'm going to share my teacher view only. I have some people that are leading this board, a lot of people that didn't answer or just got the answer wrong. So come on, you can do it. The square root of 81, this is also easy. I know you can do it. If you're not math teachers, you're not entitled to know the answer to this question. Do not worry. I'm not going to judge you. So let's see, we have 1 second. Let's see if we have some climbers that advance. Okay, we now have less people at the bottom. Like, great job, everyone. I'm going to show how XYZ, that's a very interesting name that is leading the board. Then we have Kinari in the 2nd place and Nayan on 3rd place. So let's see if this can be turned with the 3rd question. Which of this is not a volcano? Come on, this one's very easy. The image already shows you, and this will prove that you are or you're not paying attention to my answers. As you can see, you can even put images in the answers. They don't have to be text, they can be images. Okay, this was actually turned around. So Kinari is our winner for our game today. Congratulations, but you all did great. Well, almost all of you. I have a couple of you that are in 0 points. For example, Victoria's awful. Damian is in place, and we have here Nilam, we have Shimoni. So we have all of the participants in this little podium, and you can see your character is jumping in your own slide. So I'm going to make one more pause to see if there are any more questions, and then I'm going to jump to the how to access students' responses. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions here, so I'm going to go directly there. Feel free to post them in the chat. So once you finish your lesson, you want to access how your students did. So you're going to go back to Nearpod. I want to leave the session. Yes, I want to. I'm going to go back to Nearpod and click here on the reports tab. The reports tab will show me all of the lessons that I once launched with my students and all of the performances. So I can access the lesson that I just shared with you, and I can click the most recent one. I know this because of the time and the date. That is the time that you joined. And I can access all of my students' responses. So on the left-hand side, I have everyone's names, so I can identify them in the lesson. And I know that 60 people joined my session. Now, if I want to go to see what happened per activity, I can click here to the top and see what happened. For example, in the poll on how much do you know about Nearpod, I can always see all of my students' responses. Somebody asked if they can export quizzes from other tools to Nearpod. Yes, Sangram, you can do that. And the way you're going to do it is through the website feature. You remember that I showed you how to share a website in Nearpod? If you have any external tools, any external, for example, if you're using Kahoot, which is a quiz that is external to Nearpod, you can link the Kahoot to the Nearpod lesson. And going back to my report, I can always see the open-ended questions my students responded to, or even I have access to all of the drawings of my students. And the good thing about this report is that it can be downloaded as a PDF or a CSV view. The PDF is very nice because it's very graphic and colorful, but the CSV will allow you to grade students because it's an actual spreadsheet. And you can also see student view or session view. So in this case, I want to download a PDF of a student view. I can download for all of my class or only a particular student. And once I do, I can select either Google Drive or local drive, and I can access this report. So it will show me the date and the time the student connected, who my student is. I am sorry, Anita, I took you for my student here, and all of the answers in case this person answered. So Anita wanted to go to the beach, and she also drew, this is the person that drew mama and dad in the drawing. So I have all of my students' responses in this report here. I'm going to make another pause. I know that we have 10 minutes left, so I want to see if you have any questions about what I showed you today. If you learned something, if you didn't learn anything, all of the things you have to say are welcome. I want to understand how is your understanding of Nearpod, if you think this is going to work. Please remember that everything that I showed today is what is available with a school license. You're going to see that licenses have different accesses, but this is everything that you can do with a school license, which is basically everything available at Nearpod. That is the good thing about a school license among other benefits. But one of them is that you can access all of these features. You have unlimited storage to download as many lessons as you need. And while you type your questions in the chat, I am going to search for art in the Nearpod library so to see if we have any art lessons. For example, introduction to art for grades 6 to 12 or K to 5. Let's see here what lessons are going to work. So whoever asked about the art lessons, in this way, you can always preview how an art lesson is built. So we have here the preview, we have what students will learn, and what is, so we can teach value, shape, texture, line, color, space, form. You have a lot of the lessons to choose from. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now to see the chat. So which of the features will we not get for a free version? Ms. Kajal, I believe that you will be able to access that if you go to, let me share with you. I don't know if the best person to answer this question is Dr. Beta, but in any case, the silver edition is limited in the terms of the storage of the access to the features, and also, well, there's a couple more things that it's limited. Somebody asked if I can guide you through the use of the app. I actually hope that that is what I was doing in this session, but the use of the app is very easy compared to the website. It's just different in terms of that you don't have a mouse. You just use your finger with the app. It's very easy to navigate. Can we download this app? Yes, Tapti. If you have an iOS device or an Android device, you can go to the store of the device and download it from there. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. So it can be downloaded for teaching, and students can download it to join the session. In both cases, it works perfectly well.
Vicky, someone is asking if we can I don't know if we can show them the collaborate where you can ask some questions over there.
Yes, one of the things, let me share my screen again. One of the things that I showed you in my lesson was how to share questions, for example, through the open-ended question feature. So that's a possibility. But then you can create any activity you want in terms of questions. So going back to the activity, you have the time to climb, which is the one we completed. The questions are already written there for you. You need to select an answer. The open-ended question, you can write your own questions. So
no, but I'm sorry, Vicky. I think it was regarding I don't know if I have any question for the teacher.
Oh, you want to check for student understanding?
Yeah,
okay.
The collaborate.
If you're in the middle of your lesson, it's okay, perfect. And you want to, let's say that we got to the end of the lesson, right? We got to the end and we want to ask students, hey, did you understand what we taught today? Do you have any questions? Well, the best way to actually do that is by sharing a collaborate board. Let me share it with you. I have a collaborate board here. So if you haven't left my previous lesson, I will rejoin the session that I was teaching so I can go back. And I want to share with you the collaborate board, which was over here. In this case, I am asking a different question. For example, if you have any pets, but this could be, hey, do you have any questions? So you can go ahead and just click, if you do have questions, you can write them in the chat. And as a student view, I will be able to see in here the whatever questions my fellow students are answering or asking. And this is a very good way. So somebody answered dog, but in this case, it could be, hey, I do have this question. So somebody asked, if I share this lesson with my co-teacher, will she be able to show it to her class? The co-teaching feature that I showed that is available within Nearpod is that somebody can control the pace of the lesson with you. But now you can share this lesson with other teachers. If you created a lesson that you think other teachers will benefit from, and they're part of your own school, you can go ahead and share that and they can use it as well.
So I think, Victoria, perhaps what Damian wanted to ask was, can a student ask a question, not a teacher? So while the session is going on, can a student raise a hand or interpret teacher and ask question to teacher?
Yes, this is the way you're doing it. For example, let's say, instead, if this question is saying, do you have any pets? It would be, do you have any questions? As a student, I will ask yes. I have a doubt. How do I use the Droid activity? And I'm going to post it. On a teacher view, I will start seeing all of the answers here, so I can see if my students have any questions. So, hey, Victoria, yes, I'll show you how to use the Droid activity. This is the way you're going to use it. I didn't have a collaborate prepared for questions. That is on my, that's my bad. But in any case, I do have a lot of people just posting that they have pets, they don't have pets or cats.
So
Anita, you were not able to match up activity. You're talking about the matching pairs?
So sorry, so does it mean that only when a teacher asks the student can respond? A student cannot interrupt a teacher in between?
No, they can, but they can through the activities. There is no way to interact in Nearpod outside of the activities. Because that's for that. The thing is that Nearpod is not a video conferencing software. Nearpod is a platform that will allow you to share lessons. So the interactivity will be done entirely through activities.
All right, okay.
Yeah, the idea is that the students will ask questions on the collaborate. Like that's where they can ask any questions they have. And Victoria, someone is asking if we have a grammar game.
We have grammar lessons. Let me show you.
I think we have some
If you go to the Nearpod Library, and this you can do at your own, you go to the Nearpod Library and just type what you need. So somebody asked me, we have grammar lessons. I'm going to click grammar. You'll see a lot of different English grammar lessons, videos, activities. If you don't want to do lessons, you have activities, for example, matching activities. You'll see a lot of them here in the same way that I saw, or even if you're teaching music, we have also a lot of lessons on music. So you'll see a lot of different subjects are already built in within Nearpod.
Also art that someone was asking.
Yeah, also, yes, that can be done. And I'm sorry, I'm seeing questions here. I do not understand the question. Says it is possible for children to do the map activity through this. What do you mean by map activity? And you can have voice recording over. Yes, you can, Sangram. You can record your own voice for any slide or any activity. The collaborate board is located when you create a lesson. You can add an activity here and you're going to select the collaborate board. Alrighty, I know that we're in time. We're already at, I think it's your 7 p.m., our 9 a.m. I hope that this session helped. As I said before, please remember that everything that I showed today is available with the school edition. I am sure that Dr. Beda will share with you a feedback form in which if you want to find more information about the school edition, you can always fill that out and let us know, and we'll help you out. My suggestion would be create an account. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. Explore Nearpod, start creating, launch a lesson with your students, with your family, with your friends. Just go ahead and play with it. There's no way you can break it. So in any case, the best thing you'll do is you'll learn how to use Nearpod and it will change your life. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, also the school edition, you can try it for free.
So there is one question from teacher Aarti Daryani.
Yes, I was just answering the 3D element that I took from that I shared in my lesson was in our library of 3D objects. So you need to just peruse the library and find one that matches you. And do we have any video tutorial of Nearpod? Yes, YouTube has a lot of them. Let me share with you our YouTube channel so that I can share all of the different videos, because there's not one video. We have a full library of videos in YouTube. I'm looking for it, so don't worry. We have our own channel, and in this channel, you can access all of our tutorial videos. Everyone here, paste, here we go. Yes, those are in our theme there. You'll find the links to all of the different videos.
Introducing Nearpod. With Nearpod, you can make—
Yeah, that's the one.
Any other questions, teachers? Okay, so I think there are no questions. Anybody want to ask question by asking, not by typing, but asking question? You can unmute a mic and ask.
Yeah, I also put my email contact in case anyone has any question. So feel free to email me in case you have any question. That's
I'm answering questions that are in the chat, but I
Okay.
believe that our presentation it's over. So in any case, I really appreciate everyone's time today. I hope you have an amazing weekend and that you actually learned something from this hour or so that we've been together.
Great, Victoria, that was super pleasant. The way you took it us through the Nearpod, I'm sure all of the teachers would have learned and got excited with the product a lot. Anybody who would want to share the feedback here? Anybody would want to just share your experience today? Any teacher would want to share the experience? Just unmute your mic and speak, please. Shilpa Gore, teacher. Shilpa Gore. Shilpa ji, yes, Shilpa ji. You have raised your hand.
Sir, I can't.
Oh, acha, okay. Aarti ji, you have raised your hand. Aarti.
Good evening.
Yeah.
It was a very nice session, detailed explanation of each step. And I'm hearing for this experience Neuropod about Neuropod third time. But today I'm just understand what is the real step to get in and how it as a teacher how to use that. So thank you very much.
Great, that's really nice. So it was helpful to you. Any other teacher would want to share the experience? Come on, teachers, don't be shy. You can speak out. Just unmute your mic and speak, please. Okay, so teachers will be sharing the link with you. We already shared the link, bit.ly/srd-feedback. So please give your feedback, teachers. Do let us know, because any good feedback, it motivates us, it encourages us to do more. Any criticism, it helps us to improve whatever we are doing. So teachers, be honest and give an honest feedback to us. And finally, Damian, first of all, thank you so much for reaching out. I mean, I had sent a mail to you, and thanks for your prompt response. And thanks to your prompt response, we could have such a lovely webinar today. So Damian, thanks a lot.
It's all Victoria's. Like,
and then Victoria,
she did an awesome job. So
absolutely, Victoria,
all the kudos to her.
She's a good teacher, I can tell you that. So Victoria, you have been a very good teacher. Okay, and I wish you could have had more time and learned more from you today. But maybe next time. But
yeah,
amazing job, Victoria. Superb.
Thank you. I did have excellent students. I need to admit that. You were all awesome. So thank you everyone for attending the session.
Right. I also need to thank all the teachers who participated today.
Yeah.
Any event is successful.
Thanks for joining.
For the participation. Okay. If there's no participation, the event flops. So today we had more than 160 participants in a webinar, which is amazing. Usually most of the webinars we get some 30-40 people in other webinars, but thankfully to all the participants here, we had such a lovely participation. In fact, we had 270 registrations and 160 plus participants. So thank you all the teachers. Thank you International Teachers Guild, and to take your name, I'm so sorry. My sincere apologies, but I think she's not here today. But International Teachers Guild, they have been also partnered with us, and they have been promoting these kind of events to all the teachers who are part of their group. And it's your platform for the teachers, of the teacher. So download the Teacher Talk app and start using it. Did I miss anything? Abhishek, my team member, he has been on the toes for making this webinar successful. So Abhishek, thank you so much. And teachers, you would be interacting more with Abhishek, because he's the guy who's going to give you the certificates from tomorrow onwards. And he's going to interact with you. He's going to send you the details, how you can access your certificate and download a certificate from the app. And please give the feedback, because only when you give the feedback form, we'll get your number, email address, and your name, and that name will go on a certificate. So please put your name properly, because on a Zoom, we get some odd names like iPad and some numbers and some mobile names and Galaxy. So only when you use the feedback form, that's where you get an accurate name, and accordingly we can make your certificate ready. So with that, I now say thank you once again to all of you. Damian will be any offer for the schools who want to buy Nearpod? Any special offer you'd want to give to the Indian schools here and colleges?
Yes, sure. I will follow up with them to with good promotions to the ones who attended this webinar, and see how we can move forward with to put like your school on the next level.
Sure. So that will be great. Do work on some special deal and offers for these teachers who
sure.
participated here for their schools, and get in touch with me, and I'll pass on the information to all the teachers who participated here. But we are definitely looking for a very, very good deal. India is a very price sensitive market, unlike USA. So if you give us a good bargain, you'll definitely get a big market here for such a lovely product. Okay. So
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to do this webinar, and thank you, Victoria, and all the teachers to join the session.
Lovely. Okay, so with that, we thanks everybody, and I'll end the session here now. See you again next week. All teachers, 4th of August, we are meeting again for open mic. So please mark that in your calendar, 4th August.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Thanks, Damian. Thanks,
Bye.
Priya. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
There, the link is given again. It is SRD-feedback. It is bit.ly/SRD-feedback. So people who have still not clicked on the link, please click there. And please fill up the form so that we get an exact name, the way you want to have on your certificate. We would give your email ID, give your mobile number so that we can arrange to send the certificate to all of you. And the certificate would carry the Nearpod logo. So teachers who have already filled out the feedback, you can leave now.